Hi guys, this is Hayden Chance. I'm doing this video specifically on a request of a question that Liza Edwards asked in the Dice forum. She asked specifically. I'm going to just jump right in here. She asked specifically, could being nervous affect the roll of the dice, and could that be what is reflecting in the dice rather than that being the outcome for, say, the day? Let's say you're doing a daily read, but you're jittery and you're nervous in the morning for whatever reason when you do the roll. Is it possible that that's not really telling you what's going on in the day, but that it's telling you about your nervousness or your fear? Okay, I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think happens to a gambler who chokes, who rolls dice and rolls, you know, and loses? Okay, um, your attitude, how you approach these, your emotional state will very definitely influence these. Okay, which is why I said in the book about the Lucky Links Fortune dice that in Sun Tzu said, don't ever trust ghosts and spirits, or you need to be able to investigate it yourself. So I always say divination is just like a friend, advice from a friend. Take it as take it that way. Okay, and in some cases, a friend can be very accurate, very helpful, and I don't deny that. But I'm going to go into why and how this works right now, and show you some things about how to get the most out of all divination. Not just, I'm using the dice example, but all divination. Okay, so those of you who have spoken to me and who know me a little bit know that I ascribe to the belief, and I learned this from my Tibetan training, that there is in an oracle, in any oracle, there is a demon. There is a demon connected to it that you speak to. Okay, you could call it a being, whatever you want to call it, but they call it a demon. All right, so there's a demon, a deck demon, a dice demon attached to this. Okay, and what you're doing is you're talking to it. It's looking in its mirrors in its space to see the situation, and it comes back with, by helping you order the symbol, and it's up to you to interpret what they're saying. People who are good at listening to the demon and getting what they're saying. Now, in Tibetan teaching, that's like the lowest form of spiritual evolving, because you're still letting someone else do the work for you. Okay, so consider that as you is though we like to get all egotistical about the fact that we can read this. Well, yeah, but someone else is helping. Okay, you're not doing it all yourself. So hold on there, buddy. You ain't doing it all yourself. Okay, so a good demon, okay, one that's really helpful, will help you to see those moments when you're all screwed up by showing you on the oracle itself, look, you're not in the right frame of mind. Okay, one that's not so helpful is going to try to get you in that state so he can or she can feed on it, can feed on that state that you're in. Okay, so they can feed on your confusion, your pain, your whatever, and they can get it to happen, help you get into situations where you constantly you ask again and again, and then they can feed on all that energy if that's what they like to feed on. Okay, the other ones feed on whatever deal you've made with them. So if they take some of your energy for the exchange, there is an exchange in every case. It's like there's no such thing as a wish that you don't have to pay for. Okay. So what I'm going to show you though is, like, for example, I'm going to use the oracle here, the love oracle here, and then I'll show you in the fortune dice. For those of you who got the love oracle, what might happen if you roll the love oracle? Okay, let's say it comes up broken heart. It you got to have a connection to the being in the die and talk to it and go, well, what do you mean by that? That's why I'm always talking about using your intuition. That's what I do. I ask the being, what do you mean? That's how I get the accuracy I get. I talk to it and I say, well, what do you mean from that? So if this comes up, they're going, look, they could say, look, this attitude of yours is breaking your own heart. There's no need for it. That could be one possibility. Let's say the death comes up. It could be, go, look, you're killing any chance you got here because of your attitude. Okay, or maybe the devil comes up and it's like, look, you're binding yourself to this question or this attitude that you have, or this stubborn idea that you have that it's going to turn out wrong, or whatever it is. Okay, so it's your job as the diviner, and this is where the talent, if there's any, comes in, is being able to determine Is that the outcome the being is telling me? Or is the being telling me, look, you're not even in the right state of mind? Those of you who do the I Ching, you know that that one will tell you, look, you're an idiot. It'll flat out tell you, you're an idiot. You're in the wrong state of mind. And then if you ask again, it'll tell you again, you're still an idiot. So so with other oracles, though, you have to be a little more savvy about it. Okay, so let's look at the ones in the fortune dice. Now I'm hoping that you guys can go back and read the PDF between the lines now that I'm telling you this, because I didn't want to throw this all out there in the beginning. Well, let's say you start rolling, you roll the die, and you roll the devil. Okay, this is the outcome die, right? Or the moon. Okay, so the moon may be telling you, look, you're in a totally emotional state. You're not going to get a clear answer. Or the devil could be telling you, look, you are not seeing your own fear here. Okay, you're binding yourself to this outcome or this question or this habit you have to create chaos or something in your life that you're hoping to not create. Okay, so we can bind ourselves to it by our fear and nervousness, or even by wanting it to happen so bad. And sometimes when these things come up, they say, "Look, idiot, it's coming, but you're doing this." Or let's say the frog comes up, like someone rolled this week. They said they were concerned about the frog meaning out of control, and it was probably saying, "Look, you're in a skittish place. To make anything happen, you'll be jumping all over the place if you keep this up." Now, is that there's hope in this, and there's positivity, and there's possibility in this, because when that happens, you can go, look, okay, I see that. Well, what can I do to change that? So let's say I got a shitty attitude, and I'm like, what do I do to change that? You take one of the dice and you roll it, and you go, look at your core needs. Ask yourself what your core needs are. And realize that this is shedding light on a habit you have. You now have the awareness to start to change it if you choose, okay? Okay, so let's look at some of the others that might come up in that case. The wolf might come up and say, look, you're biting yourself, or you're trying to bully yourself through it. The peace might come up and say, look, you don't have the right peace here. You're not asking the right question. The liver might come up and say, look, your confidence is off. Stop asking this without confidence. You know the answer already, but your confidence is low, okay? Maybe this one or this one comes up, because it's like you're boxing yourself in, or you're so bound to your security, you're not seeing a bigger picture. Or look, the hexagram, look, you're using this to limit. This is a limiting question and a limiting way of approaching this. Or maybe this comes up to tell you, look, you're really way too emotional right now, and that's affecting the outcome. So the reason that it's important in all kinds of divination, no matter what they tell you about what system it is or what set of cards, the reason it's important is sometimes the demon in the deck is telling you, look, you're screwed up, you're asking the wrong question, or there's a demon that's trying to get you to get all worked up about it so it can feed on you. Okay, and that happens. There are people addicted. They buy one deck after the other deck, and they never really get clarity, but they're so addicted. Something's feeding on them from that, okay? So, so think about it. I mean, maybe you roll the spleen. It's telling you, look, you're not open. You're stuck. You're closed off to any possibility of this thing that you're hoping will happen. Frankenstein may be coming up. Where is he? He's on the outcome. Frankenstein may be coming up, going, look, what are you bringing into being? You're making yourself your own monster here, right? What did Dr. Frankenstein bring into being? What monster are you bringing into being? Because if you keep giving this thing energy and wheels, it's going to take off on its own, and then the outcome will be much different. And it will be something that you don't want, because you're going to be giving it steam. Okay, so I'm really grateful that someone asked this question, and I hope this makes sense, because that is something that's very important in divination. That's why in the original guide, the PDF that you guys can download up in the file section of the Fortune Dice Facebook group, look, make sure it's clean and clear, the question. Try to get as few images as you can. There needs to be very little between you and the answer so that it can be clear. And don't let your emotions overtake. And if you do, stop, breathe, and try it again. Okay? So it doesn't matter what oracle it is. It doesn't matter if it's dice, which just rolled on the floor, or the tarot, or the Lotteria, those you were in the other group, or those, scrying. crystal balls, doesn't matter what it is. If you get, a head of steam of emotional confusion and upheaval on that sucker, it is going to ride on it and it is going to affect the outcome. Okay? Likewise, if you see that, you can go, okay, well, what can I do? Okay, look, again, I rolled the sun. Go back to your core needs and core values, and as simple as it can. Sometimes it's as simple as taking a walk in the sun for us to clarify what we really need. Okay, so, and I got to see, this fell on the floor. Wanted to see what came. Okay, so the kidneys. So it's like if you fill this with fear, if you start the cycle with fear, it's gonna feed the whole thing with fear. Okay, so it's like anything. If you feed something poison, if you feed a plant poison and you start to, if you try to grow a plant near radiation, that thing's gonna come out all twisted. Same thing. Okay, so keep that in mind, and I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions about this subject, please feel free, put them in the bottom. I am not, however, arguing the merit of whether or not there's a demon in an oracle, because if you don't believe it, great. What I always say is prove it. Prove you can make it happen. That's all that matters, okay? If you can if you can get a clear outcome, there's a reason for it, and just be sure you can reproduce it. That's it. That's the whole point of this. So, any other question? No, I'm willing to, discuss. Let's talk about it. So, those of you who want to investigate, that kind of idea further, there's a tremendous big ass book called, I think it's Oracles and Demons in Tibet. It's a huge book, but the Tibetans have, thousands of years of teachings in this sort of thing. So, and that's coming from a lineage. So, again, any questions you have, please feel free to put them in the bottom and underneath in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer them. Or if you have another question you'd like me to address in a video, go ahead, put it on the page, and I'll do my best to answer that one. Okay? And I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope this helps your divination.